This is what I'm holding on to Upcycle. This is your last chance to look at these. So let's get these apart and make a new necklace. Using something from each necklace. The earrings, I don't know. These components over here, I'm not so sure if I'm going to use these, but I am going to make a necklace using something from here, here, and here. So let's get these apart. This one is a 3-strand. This one is a 3-strand, and then we have this single strand necklace. So this is your last chance to see these as they were originally designed. I'm going to be taking them apart now and using something from this one, and this one, and coming up with a new necklace. Let's get started. This one is strung with string, so that should be pretty easy to take apart. And as we know, as soon as I do, they will start flying. So I'm going to get over my little ball here. One down, again on string. This one has a barrel clasp and it is on nylon. Lots of little beads. Stones. And because I don't care for barrel clasp, I'm throwing this one away. But I am holding on to these, and I can see that because of where I cut the string, I still have some crimp beads here that I need to get off of here. One came off, but I need to get the rest of them off. And this is a metal bead that's looped around. So it might be a little bit of a challenge to get these off without breaking the clasp itself. I sure hope I don't break this because that's part of my plan here. I'd like to make another 3-strand necklace. So I'm going to have to be very careful. I'm not sure what I can use here, but I need to get these off of here. Okay, that seems to be cutting away at it. Oh good, it came off easy. Again, I don't want to damage or break the closed loops on the clasp itself. I also don't want to damage my tool. Another one off, so that's good to go. This is the other half. This is pretty thin after all. Whoa, that one went flying. It's okay, I'll get it later. That piece went flying. I do have glasses on, so I'm not worried about my eyes. Little pieces that came off, but I'm glad it did come off. Quite easy, actually. Let's take this one apart as well, since we're at it. I've got them. I got the pieces here. Get that thrown away. Clean this up a little bit. So there we go. We've got our 3 bowls of beads to work from. These are just some earrings and other components. And I have 2 clasps to choose from. I think I'm going to go with this one because I like the color of the extension chain, where this one is just all gold. I'm going to work with this clasp. What I hope to achieve today is to make a new style, a new design, a new 3-strand necklace using these beads, something from each necklace. So let's get set up for that. While we are looking at this, I just want to say that the inside necklace is 13 inches long, the middle strand is 14.5, and the longest strand is 16 inches. What that means is that they're 1.5 inches apart, 13, 14.5, and 16 inches. I meant to have the necklace in my hand when I was telling you this. I tried it on, and the shortest part of the necklace was too small for me. So I'm going to be making a 3-strand necklace that is 18 inches on the shortest, then 19.5, 1.5 inch more, so it drapes nicely, and then 21. So my necklace is going to be a lot longer. 18, 19 and a half, and 21. That's my goal. I am going to use a bead board today because of working with 3 strands. I want to make sure I get it right the first time round. And there's always some lint on here. It's been a long time since I've used this one. The thing is, the shortest strand goes up to 8 and 8, 16, goes up to 17. So this isn't really quite long enough for me to lay out the 3 strands because I'm doing 18, 19 and a half, and 21. This goes to 13. That would be a 26-inch long necklace, and I only need 21 there. But it's this one here where I need 18, and it only goes to 17. And this one only goes to 17. So I'm going to have to lay out all 3 strands on this outer part to have enough room to work with. So the first strand, 18 inches. That's what we need to build. I'd like to make all 3 slightly different. Sometimes they make all 3 strands the same. Let's get this into the camera a little more. I'll have to move it around as I work. I really like this bead, this oval bead. But you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I'm going to put it on the 3rd strand. Let's start with these beads, the round ones. And we have this really cool looking black bead with a mottled gold effect. So let's start here. I'm not sure how many I have that size. I guess I only have 1 that size. And that's okay, that can be the center point. Putting these 1 inch apart for now. But I do need to build this up to 21 inches long. So that's a lot of beads on this longest strand. A whole lot of beads. So I think I'm just going to lay some beads here for now. Just to make sure I have the same size. And how many I have of the same size. Because I need a lot of filler beads. I do have some more of these. And I have some small ones too. Let's just not worry about the spacing so much now, but see what we can do here. So let's just bring these back in together for now. That's my center bead. That's my focal point of the longest necklace. And let's just check it. Hope you can see that okay. I'll keep moving it up. And instead of doing beads this whole length, I'm thinking about working in some chain. This is another necklace that I had worked with. As I often do, I find it necessary to work in some other components. This is a beautiful section of beads right here. And it's very possible that I can work some of these in to finish off the upper part of the necklace, the part that goes around the neck. And luckily, I have 2 sections like this, plus some extra chain. So I'm going to keep this in mind. I think it needs to start right about here, not too far up. Otherwise, I'll be putting beads all around the neckline, and I just don't think it's necessary for the outer layer. So I'm going to work in some of this pretty gold chain. As you can see, I still have a lot of space between these beads, so we need to work in some more beads. And this is what I have. I have the stones, and I have these smaller beads here, and some of the off-white pearls. I'm going to pick out these beads and set them aside because I definitely want to work those in somehow. I think they're really cool. And this one here actually has a purple tint, a bluish purple tint. You can't see that on camera, but it does. And then we have this unique looking bead in a couple of different sizes. After that, we basically have some faux pearls of various sizes. I'm going to lay those out on my tray. You can't see it right now, but I could put them up here. We have some of those different sizes. And these little beads have a little green tint to them. After that, I have these little 6/0s. I think they might be 6/0s that have a little lining to them. I don't know if you can see. They're so small. When I say lining to them, meaning the color is partially coming from the inside. Probably work in some of these. I'll get those separated out and I'll be right back. Okay, I have the little glass beads separated. This is what I have left from that necklace. And the faux pearls are not in very good condition, so I'm not even sure if I can use them. They're just not in good condition. So I've also separated out some of these smaller gold beads right here. I see I have some bead caps in here, so let's separate these out, see how many we have to work with. It's always good to know how much you have to work with before you get too far into the project. I'm going to go ahead and lay out the rest of these black and gold beads, just so I see how many I have of the same size, you know. Thinking ahead, because I need to make 3 layers. So what do I have left? I have a lot of gold beads of various sizes, and I have some more of these little glass beads, only these are a little smaller than those. And then we have these beads too, and I want to work them in somewhere. The question is, where? And do I really want all large beads here, or do I want different sizes? Decisions, decisions. I want to show you what I mean when I say these aren't in very good condition. Can you see the wear? It's not just dirty, it actually is missing. It's peeling, it's peeling. So I'm afraid to use these smaller faux pearls, and yet I would like to have some of this color in there. The larger ones aren't too bad, so I guess I can work some of these in, and I'm not sure if I have enough of them. You can see that I just ran out of them. Okay, I'm going to step down in size now. Here, here, and I'm going to pull these and step down in size here. Right, I think I've got my pattern right. Let's check it. The larger bead here, I'm just going to say white, white, gold, white, black, white, gold, white, black, gold, white, gold. I wanted to save these anyway for the next layer. I want to see if this bead cap will fit around the largest bead. I'm not sure if it will. So to test it, I just grabbed a head pin. I'm just using the head pin just to check the fit. It looks a little small, but it does work. Does work. Okay, now that I know I can use that bead cap from my test fit here, I'm going to put a bead cap on each side of the black beads because they're the prettiest bead. And you got to be careful that you don't have 2 of these stuck together because that does happen. And do they fit okay around the smallest bead if I wanted to continue that? Yes, I can put it around the smallest bead. That goes over here. So I'll line those up to again go around each of the black beads. And then I want to work in these little glass beads, to work those in on the outside of the bead cap. So I have these to work with. I haven't worked these in yet, the stones. I'm not sure if I'm going to work them in to the longest necklace. I have an idea about those. I think I'm going to hold on to those. I like to use 49 strand nylon coated wires. It's 0.018 by 30 feet. You'll find a link for something similar in the description box below the video. Let's find the starting point here. Because it's the starting end and it's bent, I cut it off. We're using chain for part of this. Right now, just rough glance, I scoot all these together, but I don't want to too much. I mean, I'm looking at maybe 12 inches of wire, but I need to add a little extra to work with. So I'm going to pull off probably about 14 inches of wire. Put a clip, whatever kind of clip you like to work with, on the end. Make sure it's secure. And let's start stringing this. I'm going to work from my left to my right. I'm not putting any beads in between the smaller gold and the pearl and the gold. I'm not putting any beads in between or any findings. But I do have a little glass bead here. Hope you can see that. And then a bead cap, then a black mottled bead. It's black and gold. They're really pretty. Another gold bead cap. I say gold tone, you know, it's brass. That's pretty. I'll show it to you when we get a little further along. Another little glass bead, gold glass bead, you know, one of these. A larger pearl, gold bead, pearl. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to put a clip on this end too. Actually, I'm going to move these down, give myself a little more room on the other end to work with. I know there's a lot of things, busy things in the way, so this is what I've got. This is my center point at 0. Checking the pattern, and it looks good. And I still want to work in some of this pretty chain here. But to do that, I need to be able to link this wire to the chain, and I have to decide how much chain I want exposed. Or maybe I just take all of the chain off here and go directly to this first bead and start there instead of having chain. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to start directly with the first bead and not have any chain in this lower part of the necklace. What I need to do, you can see that it has a head pin here that's bent back. I need to remove the chain at the split. So I have some flat nose pliers here. Set that aside. This is what I have. And I really want to make sure this is closed up extremely well because I don't want that wire coming out of there. If I had a gold closed jump ring, I would put it on here right now, but I don't have a gold one. Closed as much as possible so that it can't come open. We are going to need a gold crimp tube or crimp bead. We need a gold crimp bead or crimp tube. I'm thinking in this case, because I don't want it to fall through here at all, I think I'm going to do a crimp bead. Very tiny crimp bead that I'm going to flatten. I'm going to need 2 of them. So tiny. So let's go ahead and finish off this one side. Let's take the wire, put this tiny little crimp bead on here. Oh, you know what? I have this long length of chain here. I might have taken this end off, but I haven't determined where I'm taking it off on the rest of the necklace. Oh, here's the clasp. That's where I'm opening it. It's got a ring clasp, and boy, that clasp isn't very good. It doesn't want to open. The link doesn't want to come out very well. Okay, that's better. We got the crimp bead on here. Going to go through the loop at the bottom of this ribbed textured bead and come back down through the crimp bead and several other beads, 2 for now. Give a little tug on that. Needle nose here. I've got these flat nose. I need a little room for movement, but not too much. Not too much. Can you see that little crimp bead right there? I'm going to go ahead and press that. I'm not crimping it like I would with a normal crimping tool. I'm just pressing it and give it a good tug. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to tuck in the end, the wire, and through at least 2 beads, maybe more. Give a little tug if you need to. Let's go for 1 more bead. Okay, let's push all the beads to that end. It's not all the way. I can see that it's not all the way. This is very important that we get this as snug as it needs to be so that the wire isn't exposed. Now, where'd that other one go? Here's that tiny little crimp bead, not tube because it's not elongated. It's just a little round bead. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to remove this chain. Come back through the crimp bead and through a couple of other beads. This is where I have to make sure that I get it right. I had some leeway on the first one, but this is the final part here. And then I need to get a hold of whatever end I need to tug on to tighten this necklace up. Getting a little crooked here, sorry about that. Just happens. Again, pushing my beads down. Pushing them down. I can see I have about, oh goodness, almost a 1/4 inch gap here. So I need to tighten this up. Now or never to get this tightened up. I still want it to be a little tighter. I think I'm ready to crimp this. I want the wires side by side. I think it looks pretty good. And these are clippers that I use only for my beads. I don't use them for anything else. Straightening everything out. I have my focal point bead at 0. I'm just laying it out nice and flat. As I said, if I went all the way up to the corners, well, that's 13 and 13 is a 26-inch long necklace. I only want it to be 21. 12 and 12 is 24. 11, 11 is 22. So actually, I don't have a lot of chain that's going to be wrapped around the back of the neck, because if I go to 10 and a half, 10 and a half, I'm ending up right here. In retrospect, I could have gone a lot shorter with my beads so that more of this would be seen up front. The fun part about making jewelry is that you can change your mind. I just went and tried this on. And even though I'm going to be selling this piece, I'm not keeping it for myself. I tried it on and I really liked it being longer. So even though originally I thought, well, I'll do 18 for the inner and 19 and a half and 21. This is so pretty. This long section of necklace is so pretty that I'm going to make every layer longer than what I originally planned. In fact, I'm only going to take off about 1 inch at the top. Right now, I straighten everything out. This is centered at the bottom, centered here, my focal point bead. You can see I'm all the way over here. I'm at 16, that would be a 32-inch long necklace. And although that is long, it really looks pretty. I think I only want to take a little bit of the chain off. I think I'm going to make this 32 inches long. In other words, I'm going to take about 1 inch off of here. Well, I've got the clasp to think about too. The clasp is the original, where did I put it here? Because I'm doing 3 strand, this has the hook clasp. It adds about 3/4 of an inch. I'm thinking about coming back to 15 and 15, that's 30 plus this. I'm going to come back to 15 on the chain. I can still adjust it before it's all said and done. So let's take this off of here, set this aside for just a minute. Hopefully I don't knock anything out of it. Let's take a look at this side by side. It's nice because this pattern, this part was already done for us. We didn't have to do anything. I just want to make sure that my chain is even. It's a little bit twisted. I'm going to get it untwisted. Okay, I know where I need to disconnect it. Now I do need to connect this to the original clasp. It's a little brighter gold than what the clasp is, but you know, it's faded over the years. Before it was attached with string. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to connect it because I have 3 different necklaces going on and this is the only one with chain. I think we'll come back to this. Let's move on to layer 2. I'm going to think on that a little bit. This is the first layer, and I don't know about you, but I think it's really pretty. I mean, it's a pretty necklace just by itself. But let's go back and work on the middle layer. The longest length is finished, and it's approximately 30 inches. So if I need to be 1.5 inches apart from one layer to the next layer, the middle necklace, that's the middle layer of beads, needs to be 28.5 inches. So let's set this aside and start building a necklace that's 28.5 inches long. 28.5. Let's see what we've got to work with. I'm just seeing what beads I have. These are all the same size. I have 2 sizes of this. I also really like these. I like these a lot. And I'm not sure if I want to put these in the center. I talked about using these. And how many do I have? I'm not planning on making any earrings for this necklace, by the way. I'm just going to make the 3-strand necklace in this video. So I've got 6 of these. Well, we need 5 if we're going to have a focal point. And I just realized that 3 of them have some green and some of them don't have so much green. So if that's our focal point, and we haven't worked these in yet, so it's probably time to start adding some of these. Again, I'm just looking at what I have to work with, what size beads. These are from the same necklace that these came off of, and they have some green to them. And I think that's kind of cool. Again, being careful of the sizes. size getting smaller the further I go out. Again, we are working on the center layer of the necklace, the middle layer. I have some more bead caps, but I don't think they're going to work with these beads. Let's start working in some of the stones. See what we can do to bring in some of these. I need some more room in between. They're all cut slightly different. There's a wide variety here. At least 3 on each end of the tapered oval bead, for lack of a better name. I'm trying to pick out ones that are similar in size. Oh, I need some over here. You know, this needs to be quite long. I mean, it needs to be 28.5 inches, and I wasn't planning on using chain on this. So I need a lot of beads here. I really do. I have a long way to go to get to 28 inches. That is the challenge when you make a very long necklace. It takes a lot of beads. I only have so many of these. Let's see what else we can do here. Got quite a few of these. I'll keep working on this pattern and play some music for you. I'm thinking about this. That's all the way up to here and down. 14 and 14, 28. That's how much I need to fill in, either with beads or more chain or something. So I think I'm going to have to beef this up a little bit here when it comes to what beads I'm using and how many. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to have to add to this pattern. This isn't going to be enough. I took just a minute to think about this, and I think I'm going to start building it from 8 inches down, and to finish off around the neckline, to finish it all the way up to here, to 14, I'm going to work with 6/0s or seed beads, and I don't think I have enough here. I'm certain I don't have enough here, but I have other beads that I could use. I can work in some of my own. So I'm going to push this pattern up to the 8-inch range pattern that I'm working on. You can see here I'm working in some of the darker beads, the ones with some color. I'll play some music here for you while I build this pattern.
If only I could finish something, run straight through to the end, close the chapter dignified. Damn girl, you did it again. But will it ever be enough when I'm bent on trying to keep it tough? Will I ever settle down, happy with the here and now? When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? If only I could build a tower, pierce right through the clouds.
Still working in some beads here.
Saxophones at every hour. Who hasn't heard?
And I've been moving them up further and further so I can lay them out for when it comes time to string them. So I'm still working on this.
If only I could build a tower, pierce right through the clouds.
Still moving things around here, working in a few beads here and there. Need to finish up my focal point here and see what I'm going to add in.
Then will I have had enough?
Some of these are a little rough cut.
Will I ever settle down, steady even when it gets loud?
I think I might have it here. Let's take a look. I've stretched it all the way up to here so far, but as I wire them, they'll be a lot closer together. This is my pattern. You won't really see the pattern until I start stringing it, but I'm going to work from left to right, and I'll show it to you along the way. I want this section of the necklace to be about 28.5 inches, and I've got about 34 inches of wire here that I'm starting with. So I will play some music for you while I carefully get this strung.
When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough?
If you like these kind of videos, be sure to give me a like and of course comment and subscribe, and keep watching here because there's more.
Only I could find a way to put an angel on your shoulder, tell you true things every day. By the time you get older, maybe it could be enough. You don't have to be so tough. Maybe you could settle down, happy with the way it is now. When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? When will it ever be enough? Ever be enough? Ever be enough? When will it ever be enough?
Let's take a look at what I have so far. It's coming along. I just have to finish up these beads here and then see what I need to add to get the length that I want. Okay, let's see what we've got here. This is still my focal point right here. I'm going to just take a second and check my pattern, double check it. You can see I put 3 beads in between the white. I've been trying to check it along the way. I changed the pattern slightly here, intentionally. Okay, pretty good. I still have a long ways to go though to fill in to my 28.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and pull this wire around, try to make it kind of the same length on each side. I've talked about using these beads here to fill in, but I really don't think I have enough of them. I could continue the pattern a little longer, but I only have so many of these left. Yes, I have a lot of the gold beads left. Not using the white beads. I've used some of the black, some of the white pearls. They're just not in very good condition. I have to decide now. Right now it's about 18 inches worth of beads, but I need to fill in all the way up here. So the question is, do I keep working with these or do I just finish off with seed beads? That is the question. I still have the 3rd strand, the shortest strand of the necklace, and I'd like to save these for that. I'm going to take a look and see what I have here that would coordinate with this. I went through my stash of beads and I have a couple of options in here. I have some beads that look very much like these. And then I have these that are opaque, meaning it's more solid gold, and then these are a brighter gold. Let's look at the clasp. I'm not sure that any of them match perfectly with the clasp, and I'm not sure that it matters so much. But I have, then I have these, which I think are more of this here. And these would be the 6/0s, which I don't want to go that large. So I know I've referred to these as 6/0s, but they must be 10/0. These are 10s. Continue with a very similar bead as the original necklace, or change it over to one of these, or do a combination of all 3. I don't think I want to put 3 different golds together. I kind of like this one with this bead. I hope you can see that. I kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to go with this. Decision made. Now, I do not want to get these mixed in. I'm going to move these out of my way because I don't want to accidentally pick them up. Instead of working on the bead board for this, I'm going to set this aside carefully. I will need it when it comes time to measure again, but I'm just going to dump these out. Sometimes I use my bead spinner. I've shown that to you, but if you don't have a bead spinner, well, here's your other option. Just take the end of your wire and just start picking them up. I do not use my fingers and try to place each bead one by one. I don't do that. That would be harder to do than this. So I will fast forward this until the point where I think I have enough on here. How's that? I think I'm going to stop here for now on this side. I might need more. I'm not sure yet. Make sure that's got a good grip and then switch. And these beads are irregular. They are not all the same size. They are very, very random. There is something very relaxing about doing this. How about for you? Have you ever picked up little beads like this before? Leave a comment and let everyone know. I am avoiding the ones that are exceptionally long because they just don't match the majority. Kind of going for the medium-sized beads. Not too skinny and not too wide.
Meet me here at this time tomorrow. There's something you need to know. I got used to see you as a friend, but deep inside there's something else I know. Ooh, the world seems so...
Let's check it. See what we've got. I'm just going to scoop these and put them back in the bag for now. Let's see what we've got. I'm going for 28.5 inches. At 14 and 14, that would be 28. I need 28.5, so a little bit past. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but I'm looking here and thinking that I'm going to back off just a little bit. Of course, I still have the clasp to go. So I could probably just go to 14 to allow for the clasp. I'm going to remove a few beads and I'm going to clip that off here. Take this off the board. Lay this out side by side. Last chance to check the pattern. Looks okay to me. Shorten this other one up a little bit. When it comes to making jewelry, what takes the most time is actually just figuring out the pattern. I think I've mentioned that before. Then after that, it goes pretty quick, you know? It really does. Pushing these beads down. Clips are off, so I have to be extra careful. That looks good. That looks really good. So far, we have this for the outer part of the necklace. It would be pretty if we stopped right here, but I'm going to finish it with one more pattern on the inside, and then we'll get all the layers attached to the clasp. I'm not going to attach anything until I have the third strand done. And it should be about 27 inches long. And we need to make the last strand. Basically, we're making 3 necklaces today. This is a 3-in-1 video. Let's take a look at what we have so far. We have the longest necklace, the middle section. Some people might say this looks a little bit busy, but I think it looks really unique, very unique. It looks very artsy, if I may use that word. So we have the stones left. We have gold beads left. We have a few of these beads left. And of course, we can always work in some seed beads. And I did not work in these earrings like I had said initially. Kind of forgot about them, to tell you the truth. They were off to the side. And at this point, I'm not going to work them in. I could have worked them in the larger part of the necklace, one with the larger beads. But as you can see here, I'm getting a little bit smaller. I do have some small gold beads here. I have some medium size here. Let's get those lined up. Got plenty of those. And I don't want to get too large on this last one. So let's start with these. Let's make sure I have an even amount. I'll try to space them evenly just so I guess I can see if I've got, let's see how many of the little black beads that we can use, or at least the medium size. So if we can alternate. Don't have too many. This is my center. Smaller ones, but I'm going to run out here really quick. I'm out. I do have some of these left, the black and gold. So let's see about, I'm going to change this pattern. I'm going to put this one here with the gold on each side. Trying to use everything up. I still didn't use these, but as I said, they have a bluish tint. To me, they just don't go with it at all.
I got used to see you as a friend, but deep inside there's
okay, I've used up all of those. Some of these weren't very good, that's why I'm not using them. I have small gold ones. What I've got left here. I bet you from the camera angle it looks a little crazy. Let's remove some of this. Let's focus. That's what we're going to do. We're going to focus. As if this is a necklace all by itself.
I realized I'm in love. Ooh, yeah, I realized I'm in love.
I've got lots of these. And I'm going to use all of them. Let's remember that this is going to be 27.5 inches long. So I really need to get these moved to the outer part here where I have more room for a longer length.
But I need to speak.
I've taken just a minute to study this, and this bead right here is smaller than the focal point bead. I'll show you here. It's smaller than the focal point bead on the longest length. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use these after all, because I'm needing beads more than anything. So I've got 3 of these. So let's go back to putting some beads in between. I start rebuilding this pattern again.
From the moment I dared to follow,
Checking for size.
inside, I realized I'm in love. Ooh,
I haven't used these yet. Use the smaller ones for something new into the equation. You know, it's the combination of what you can do is endless. It really is. So far, what do you think? I don't have a whole lot left to work with. Oh, I do have the bead cap. Do I have enough bead caps is the question. I'm not sure. I don't have enough to put a bead cap around each of these, but I can put it around the center. So I'm going to do that. If you're still with me as I'm working on this 3-strand necklace, please leave a comment, because it would be really great to know that you're still here, still hanging in here with me. I would love to know that, because otherwise I'm working all by myself, and what fun is that, right? I still want to work these in. Like we did on the longest layer, let's work in a couple of these beads on the outside of the mottled black and gold bead, even if I don't have bead caps for each of those. In fact, let's go ahead and work in these 10-0 beads, now that we know they're 10-0s, in between every bead. Let's change things up a little bit. I'm considering using these white beads to finish off the necklace at the top. Not 100% sure yet, but I'm thinking about it. Or at the very least, I could use them in a focal point right here and finish off with the gold beads at the top. Truly, there are so many options when it comes to making jewelry. I think I want a few up front here, so let's pick out. I'm running out of the dark beads that are in between. This is a darker bead, and that dark bead had a lighter bead on each side of it, and I'm running out of those too. So I'm starting to have just a few less options, but don't you worry. We're going to get this done, and it's going to be beautiful. And no one else will have one like it. There's absolutely no way that anyone else would ever have one just like it, which is pretty cool. I think is cool. So introducing a little bit of white around the front. I have my wire, I have my clip on the end, and I'm going to start. I'm not going to bead this part yet. I'm going to bead the pattern part. So I'm going to turn this sideways just to make it easier for me to get to this. Here we go. Enjoy the music. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's double check our pattern. This is our focal point with the bead caps. Just checking it. I have the 10-0 glass beads in between, and I'd say that looks really good. I could pick up this pattern here. Well, I don't know if I can pick it all up because, I don't think I have enough to finish off the necklace. I do have some left, but this is the focal point right now. Or I can go right into the gold beads from here and just not take away from this, just let that be. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to let this stand alone as the focal point and not put any more white on the sides. I am going to continue alternating these beads as long as I have some. So let's do that. This side is done. Now let's finish the other side. See where we are with things. We are at about 24 inches. I said I needed about 27. I don't think I have enough of these beads to finish off the gold beads, but I told you I had some similar to it. These are very, very similar. In fact, let's just lay one down here, or two. See if we can tell the difference. Okay, mine are smaller. I can see they're smaller and a little darker gold. So instead of trying to match it when it doesn't match exactly, maybe I should just finish off with these matte golds because I already have those in the necklace here. So let's do that. Let's go chase some beads. So let's chase some beads and finish this off. Get this necklace done here. We still have to put it all together, but I need this to be a little bit longer.
I will stay just to feel your heart pumping next to mine. Do you feel that I'm your missing part? That you're finally right? You got me out of this feverish dream.
Have to add some to the other side. I think I'll stop there for now and recheck it. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's see what we have. Make sure none of my clips fall off. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. From what I see, we have 3 beautiful necklaces that could all stand alone. I mean, this one is pretty. This one is pretty. And this one is pretty. Very simple. And when I put all 3 together, it looks like art to me. It looks like an art piece of jewelry, if jewelry can be art. I think it's really cool. We do want to get the length staggered so that they lay nice together. Now, I did say I can add some more chain back on as I need to. From the beginning, I've talked about using the original clasp, and this is a hook clasp. It's vintage. But now that I've shown you how pretty that each strand looks all by itself, instead of having a 3-strand necklace, I do have an option now of making it 3 individual strands that allows you the option to wear 1, 2, or 3 strands at a time. So it's 3 necklaces. I can't do that if I use this clasp. I can't do it. So I'm thinking now of how I can finish this to allow it to be more versatile. I've been on a hunt for a round ring that I could attach these 3 necklaces to. But I can tell already that this one, which was a belt previously, in fact I showed this to you in my last video, it's too thick to put a lobster clasp around it. So that's out. I kept looking in my stash and I found this paparazzi necklace. I haven't shown you this one before. And I started looking at these ovals. I would prefer round, but the bottom line is I need to be able to attach 3 lobster clasps to it if I'm going to go with this idea of attaching all 3 where they're interchangeable. I have 3 lobster clasps here. Oh, wait a minute. I need 6 for this idea. Wouldn't you know it, I was going along just fine, and my battery in my phone died. So I had to recharge it. But I went ahead and just finished off the crimp beads and the lobster clasp and got it all finished up here for you. I had to keep moving on it. And this is the finished necklace. I'm not sure that showing it to you like this is doing it justice. I will take some photos. This is the finished clasp, the lobster clasp. Each necklace can be removed. I'll show you what it looks like here with them being worn individually versus together. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Everything lines up. It has lots of color, lots of style, absolutely unique. And I most certainly would wear this. I am going to list it in our eBay store though for sale. I decided not to make earrings with it. I think a simple gold hoop earring would be just fine. I'll bring it down so you can take a look at it here and I'll insert some photos.
'Cause you're my sweetheart. When you're around, I feel the spark takes me higher, sweetheart. Let me be close to you forever and ever, darling. You're my sweetheart.
Thanks for watching. I'm Vicki with Avante Jewelry, and I'll see you soon.
Sweetheart.